Ew, boy, I am nervous about this call. Cassie, grab a mic. I am nervous about this call. I want you to take a deep breath before we even take it.
Okay.
That wasn't deep.
You sound like me talking to my daughter when she's upset about something. Take a deep breath.
I just know that this one is going to hit you right in the soul.
Your blood pressure is about to go up to 800 over 500.
Oh, this sounds
And
fun.
I'm just reminding all of us that our listeners are our family. We should be kind to them, even if we don't agree with them. Okay?
No, reject.
All right, so Vivian here, her father-in-law's girlfriend, she doesn't want her in her wedding pictures. And it's for an aesthetic reason more than anything else. She's just here to be honest. Hello, Vivian.
Hi?
Yeah, I'm nervous for you. All right, just go ahead and be 100% honest.
Okay, my father-in-law, I'm getting married in April. Yay.
Yay.
My father-in-law just started dating this lovely lady. She's very lovely. But I don't want her in my wedding pictures, and so I need some advice. Not if I'm making the right decision on how. I need the advice on how to tell him and her I don't want her in my wedding pictures.
Okay, you've done a really good. You've done a very good job on saying why that you don't want her in here. But what's the reason?
Because she's overweight, and she'll mess up the aesthetic of my pictures.
Okay, so let's dive into that here for just 1 second, okay? God, these weddings, man, and the perfection on so many different levels, or the perceived perception on so many different levels. So if she's in the picture and she is overweight, what does that say about you or your wedding? I'm just curious what the real problem here is.
Well, it's just ugly to look at. And when I look at them in 5 years, first off, she may not even be around. They've only been dating a couple months. By the time I get married in April, it'll only be about 7 months. So she may not even be around. So why have her in them if it's going to not make everything pretty to look at if she's not even around? But even if she is around, I don't want her there.
You say it's ugly to look at, but do you realize how ugly you sound right now? You could have just left it as, she's my dad's brand new girlfriend. These wedding photos are forever. I'm sorry, she's technically not part of the family. And literally, everyone would probably agree with you.
Because essentially what you're saying here, Vivian, just to make it totally clear, what you're saying is fat is ugly.
In my pictures, yeah. Not really. It's not ugly. She's not ugly. I just don't want that. I just need to know.
Don't be a coward. Say it.
How to say that?
Yeah, you're halfway here now. Just go ahead and say it. Say what you want.
To her? Say it just like that to her?
No. Say.
I don't want you in my picture?
Yeah, that's what you're saying. I would never, ever endorse.
I'm asking how to say that to her.
No, you should not ever say that to anybody.
No, you should say that to her. You should definitely say that to her. Let your dad hear you say that to her so he can hear what a crappy job he did raising you. Because that is ugly. That is ugly attitude. To sit there and look at someone based on their appearance and think, I hate looking at you. I hate that aesthetic. It's not an aesthetic. It's somebody's body and it's somebody's reality. Now, if you don't want her in your photos because she's your dad or whoever's brand new girlfriend, 1,000% agree. You don't know if she's going to be around long term. What if they go through a bad breakup? You don't want to see those photos 30 years down the road. Totally get it. But to say it because of how somebody looks, you need to stop and take a long look in the mirror and maybe go to some therapy and sit with why you feel the way that you do. Because I hope when you inevitably gain weight, because that's what happens to the majority of women when they get older, your husband doesn't look at you and think that you're fat and ugly and you don't fit his aesthetic anymore.
I miss the window.
So my question is, what's the advice? I need some advice on how to tell her not to be berated.
Okay.
I didn't call for that. I called for advice.
Let me say this right quick. As someone who's spoken out often about how hurtful it is to be judged for your weight, I hope I'm not about to sit here and listen to my friends in this studio give you advice on how to be cruel. Yeah, I know you didn't call to be berated. So if you want advice, my advice is to look at yourself and maybe talk to your father-in-law about not having his brand new girlfriend in your pictures because the relationship's so new and you leave the weight out of it. That would be my advice.
Thank you.
Abby.
I want to know why it's so important for you to ask her this question to her face, which is clearly going to hurt her feelings and is clearly going to be a cruel thing that is going to drive your family apart. Why is it so important to you to ask her that question to her face when you don't need to?
Well, I wouldn't. That's what I'm trying to avoid, is to not be cruel to her face. That's why I wanted advice on how I could broach the subject.
Yeah, I absolutely wouldn't mention it at all. I mean, I think Cassie is right that I think you got some soul searching to do and ask yourself, like, why this isn't acceptable to you. But before you even do that, I just, you would never want somebody to say something so hurtful to you, right? So here is a really well-placed lie. And the lie is that you tell your dad, or whatever it is, you can't say to her, look, I don't want you in the picture because you're fat. The pain that I feel for her would be devastating. I mean, she already knows what she looks like. She's probably feeling insecure about it. So to hear this from a potential future family member also, you can't.
The weirdest part to me of all of this is what Cassie said earlier, and that the first point of it stands alone. If that's the reason that you wanted her not to be there, that's plenty. That's enough. So it just makes me wonder, like, the way you see this, what if that situation still applied and she was gorgeous? Then would it matter if she was only around for a certain amount of time? It just doesn't make a lot of sense for you to even want to tell her that. Like that. Why would you even want to do that? You definitely don't say that.
Yeah.
You don't ever say that.
Is there something else going on here with you and her? Because, I mean, this is common sense.
No, she's lovely. No, she's lovely. I mean, she makes my father-in-law, my future father-in-law, happy. I have no problems with her.
So this is purely an aesthetic you do not want in your picture. So let me ask you this. And I am not being mean. I am just really trying to get into your head here. What does it say about you that if you allow a fat person in your pictures, people will look at those pictures, and what are you assuming they're going to think of you based on her picture?
It's not what other people think. I don't want to look at it.
She's fat phobic.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. So you have to admit, like Cassie said, you're fat phobic. And I think at the end of the day, you can't say that to her under no circumstances.
I have a question. Are you and your future husband on the same page with this? Does he know you feel this way about her?
Absolutely not.
What do you think he would think of you if he knew the truth?
Because
I know what I'd do. I'd
Hold
run.
on, Tommy, let her answer. Go ahead.
He would probably not be very happy.
This is a you thing.
Yeah. I mean, if you're asking for advice here on if you should say something or if you shouldn't, I mean, obviously, it kind of is mind-boggling to me that's even a question for you. So that's why I'm asking you. I'm wondering if there's something else deeper going on.
No, I just don't want to. I don't want to mess up my pictures when I look back at them in 5, 10, 15 years. And
She's not going to be in every photo. You know that, right? Like, you can control who's in the photos. So you can do a big group photo and then ask her to step out and just take one with family.
Vivian, I just want you to absorb what you're saying, though. And I want you to kind of revert.
Oh, it's very vain. I know it's very vain.
It's not vain. It's beyond that. It's hateful.
I mean, imagine somebody so sort of disgusted by whatever feature you might have. I have no idea what you look like, okay? Disgusted by what you look like that they want to hide you from pictures because they just think it's so ugly for you to be in that picture. I mean, you're basically saying she's disgusting.
But they wouldn't.
Wow.
But they wouldn't. Right.
I actually feel like you should tell your dad. Be honest with your dad. Because if I'm your dad in that situation, I won't be at the wedding either.
So we can wrap this up. So I think we're all saying the same thing. That you're fat phobic and you should not say anything to her about it.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, Cass, go for it.
I don't really have anything else to say, honestly. It makes me sad for her. It's just, it's hatred and it's fat phobia. And it's cruel because she already had the excuse of the girlfriend being brand new. And I think everyone would agree you don't let brand new partners in wedding photos. And so to take it that far, it's nasty. And it makes me sad for her because I feel like she genuinely doesn't understand why it's messed up, which means there's something else going on there, which maybe she's really insecure. I mean, I could come up with all the fake therapy reasons I want. Maybe she's insecure. Maybe she has a fear of being fat. Maybe she's been judged for her appearance in the past. But this is a reality. And unfortunately, she's vocalizing something a lot of people feel and a lot of people think. I mean, so I appreciate you guys not actually giving her advice on how to tell this woman that she can't be in the photos. And it's just hurtful and it's a really harmful mentality. And I think anytime you look at someone and you have a visceral reaction of, ugh, she shouldn't be wearing that, or ugh, he's fat, or ugh, whatever, you need to stop and be like, why am I reacting this way? And sit in it and figure out why you have this misplaced hatred for a total stranger based on their appearance, because it just means you've got some self-work to do.
You said something a couple of weeks ago. God, and the way that you phrased it, I can't even remember, but it was so beautiful. In fact, we got off the air. I even complimented you when you were talking about the article about, hey, it's okay for you to get physical with me. I'm big. It's okay for you to be physical with me, but not be seen with me in public. And I forget what it is you said and the advice that you gave and how that affected you so much, but I think it's worth saying again.
I mean, I'll try and remember. It's very difficult because these are the people who will sit there and be like, it's your personality. You're wonderful. Oh, she said over and over again, she's a lovely person. And then, but you don't want me around. You don't want to be seen with me. And it's that when we hear that, it literally takes everything you've ever been told about how your personality matters, being good and kind matters, it's what you do matters, and it undoes all of that and it boils it down to your value really is in your appearance, and it's not. And I think the one thing that I'd love overweight people to know, or anyone who struggles with anything, like any body insecurity, to know is it really is about who you are. And when people judge you for how you look, the problem is not with you, it is with that person. They have some self-work to do, and they are projecting their insecurities and their hatred from themselves onto you because you're the easiest target.
The Bert Show.